we just saw another Democratic debate the other day. If you can call it a true debate, I would like to give some coverage on exactly what I saw on that debate. But before I do, this was the first debate in a while that I've actually gotten to watch real time. That being said, before I give reaction, I think that it'd only be fitting that I play a clip. If any of you are still here, you were with me very early on when I first started this channel, this may look familiar to you. Or if you've gone back and watched really old videos before I had all this in the background and the lighting was far worse and you saw a wall clock behind me, if you were with me all the way back then, this may look familiar to you. But I think this is a fitting intro for the Democratic debate that we saw the other day. And so I would just like to play this before we get into our coverage.
Say that to somebody in North Dakota, they think it's a frisk. Drop their hand inside, you know.
So yeah, I haven't used that video in quite some time. But watching that debate, oh man, I don't know about you, but to me, very fitting for what I saw on that stage. Of course, there's a few people that I didn't include into that video at the time when I made it, honestly, because I never thought they would have gotten as far as they did. I figured Amy Klobuchar would have been toast by now. To tell you the honest truth. And of course, at the time, Bloomberg hadn't jumped in. I think maybe Tom Steyer had just finally hopped into the pool. There wasn't anything about Mayor Pete, obviously, in there at the time. He was one that I thought might actually do But of course, now we just saw what happened with him in Iowa. Looks like he's doing a little bit better than I thought. But of course, you saw who most of my focus was on in that video there. So yeah, this debate. Wow. One would think that with what just took place in Iowa, all the BS we saw from Iowa, screw jobs taking place in Iowa, coin tosses that were absolutely bogus and complete BS. You flip it up and catch it and then feel it and then, open up. Oh, there it is. All that crap that we just saw take place in Iowa. and how Bernie was impacted by that. And he comes out on stage, and for the most part, I get it. The Bernie base loves hearing this stuff. And don't get me wrong. Should he continue to hammer down on Medicare for all? Absolutely. Absolutely he should. Should he continue to hammer down on a lot of the issues that he brings up? Absolutely. But Bernie, it's time to turn up that heat a little bit on the corruption aspect, on the cheating aspect, on the rigging aspect, okay? And he's not stepping on the gas, in my opinion, quite enough, okay? Joe Biden, for example, keeps coming at him with the whole raising taxes on the middle class thing. Bernie does not push back and say, hey, man, you're lying. Hey, I've said that the taxes are going to go up, but the overall cost from the health insurance is going to go down. So what you pay in taxes and you save from this, you come out net positive at the end of the day. In other words, what you're paying for, think of it like this, folks. Think of it like this, okay? If you were living in a house and you were paying $500 a month rent, okay? But you had some issues with the house. You know, every now and then there'd be some plumbing problems, blah, 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 blah. I make that analogy because the healthcare system we have right now in this country has serious flaws. So I'm going to be nice in my comparison for this house here, okay? And of course, I know in some places $500 a month rent is low. Actually fairly low for even South Carolina. I'm just spitting that number out of nowhere. Okay, so don't take it so literal. This is just a comparison. And what Bernie is then saying is that, okay, I'm going to be able to get you a house for $400 a month rent, and you don't have the plumbing problem, so on and so forth, okay? So you get a better deal at a lower price. But I gotta take away what you got right now. Well, you're still having to spend money. It's not like you're completely getting the house for free, but you don't have all the other problems associated with the old house. This house is cheaper and doesn't have the problems. So the copays, all that, gone. The cost of medicine's going to come down. You're going to be saving money at the end of the day. That's the thing. With these other plans, they're talking the talk about bringing the cost of medicine down. But hey, it isn't the first time we've ever heard this stuff either. Yet, somehow, some way, that cost just doesn't come down, does it? And then, of course, we find out that it turns out these lobbyists who are representing the pharmaceutical industry are meeting with certain candidates in wine caves. Now, even a guy like me can figure out something a little screwy there. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. You're talking that talk, but I don't believe you're going to walk that walk. I don't believe it for 1 second that you're going to walk that walk. You're full of it, okay? So I don't think Bernie pushed back really hard enough into that column, okay? Couple of Joe Biden gaffes that I definitely caught. He was asking the crowd at one point to stand up and give a round of applause or thanks or whatever to and what is his name? His name's escaping me right here at the moment. What was that guy's name? Vindman. That's the guy. So he wanted everyone to stand up and give that big round of applause for, was it a lieutenant colonel, I believe, Vindman? If I've got his rank wrong, you'll have to forgive me. I remember the guy from the hearings, but I haven't really read up on him all that much. I just remember watching his testimony. So if I've got his rank wrong, I mean no disrespect by that. But Joe wanted the crowd to get up and give a big round, standing ovation basically for this man. And literally, it sounded like at one point he almost told him to get off your ass. Now, if he had said that, I would have fell in the floor laughing. But he didn't. It just sounded like he was like, get up. And then he stops himself. I swore. Just the way the look was on his face, that sounded like he was about to tell him to get off your ass and give him a round of applause. God, Joe. Take your meds, Joe. Take your meds. Then, of course, mainstream media pretended that Andrew Yang was the filler. You know, when you watch like an anime episode, you've got the main storyline, and in between storylines, you get a little bit of filler just to take up some time. Pretty much what they relegated Andrew Yang to once again. Because as we keep going back and forth, pinballing between Klobuchar, Biden, Buttigieg, Biden, Warren, Biden, Klobuchar, Buttigieg, Warren, Klobuchar, Bernie, throw him in there once or twice. He got a little bit more than Andrew Yang. And then there would be pinball and all these weird combinations between the rest. And then it felt like after everyone on the stage, minus one, has been babbling on for X amount of time, randomly out of nowhere, here came Andrew Yang. All the topics that we've been discussing leading up to this point, couldn't hardly hear crap from Andrew Yang. Half of these things. We got bare minimum coverage for Andrew Yang. So again, this comes back to, they use the excuse in the past, oh, too many people on the stage. That stage is a lot smaller than it once was. And yet you're still not giving fair time to everyone on the stage. You're focusing on a few in particular. And by what I saw, maybe you saw different from me if you've watched it, it seemed like the ones who were the best recipients of time on the stage, certainly Joe Biden was number one. To me, Amy Klobuchar came in a close second, followed by Mayor Pete, and then Tom Steyer. Then we go kind of Warren and Bernie almost on the tie, and then of course Andrew Yang in a dead last. That's the way it looked to me. But most certainly, we heard plenty from Klobuchar, Biden, and Buttigieg. At least from what I saw. Maybe you saw a different debate from me. Maybe you think that Warren got a little more time than somebody. I don't know. To me, it seemed like you could not get the cameras off of those three. And if you did get it off of those three, then you only moved on to the three others. And the first at the top of that one was Tom Steyer. Bernie was good to interject a lot, and I love how at one point Tom had been babbling on and on and on and on and on, and then Bernie started talking, and then Tom tried to interrupt him, and Bernie just went, excuse me, so I'm trying to finish. I love that one. But that being said, good old capitulating Bernie reared his head in this debate as well. What did we see? The whole "we stand in unison to defeat Donald Trump." Bernie, come on, man. When are you going to realize some of those people on that stage do not represent what you represent? Now, was he the only one who tried to make that little analogy? No. Tom Steyer, trying to be the guru of peace over there. Everyone on this stage has a healthcare plan that will work. All we gotta do is win. We'll get the right thing instituted. Buttigieg, yours would be great. Bernie, yours would be great. Whoa! What are you talking about? Bernie's plan equivalent to Buttigieg's plan? What are you smoking on the end of that stage, son? I mean, really? Really? Man, I'm not trying to be offensive with the joke I'm about to make. I know, Tom, you made your money in coal a long time ago, but you weren't digging it. So I'm quite positive you can't have like black lung of the brain or something. Bernie's is the same as Buttigieg's. Oh, they're both great. They're both bullshit. They're both great. No, Tony Tiger, they're not great. Bernie's plan would work. Buttigieg's plan would cause Medicare to fall on its ass. And then, waiting on the sidelines would be those greedy health insurance companies to swoop right in and pick at the bones once the corpse has decayed. Like the vultures they are. That's what you get with Mayor Pete's plan, Biden's plan, Klobuchar's plan. the three stooges, the three main stooges that are still left on that stage. Okay? So yeah, no. They're not the same, Tom. I don't care what your intentions were. Maybe you were just trying to be a nice guy. Don't know, don't care, but they're not the same. So that was just flat out lie. But then, of course, Bernie, just at one point, I forget exactly what came up, but I heard the one remark that I'd been criticizing old Bernie on. Said something about something between him and Joe, I think, where Joe had criticized him or something like that, and blah, 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 and yes, I actually remember what it was now. Apparently, they brought up that Nina Turner said that Joe Biden had been betraying the African-American community and black voters for Republicans for a long time, basically, or something along those lines. But it was definitely he'd been betraying the African-American community for Republicans. And they brought it up, and they asked Bernie, do you agree with that? And Bernie's response was, I believe she was referring to what he did a long time ago. But look, put the hand right over there. I like Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a friend of mine. I wondered when we were going to hear it on the debate stage. I really did. I heard it in the interview a long time ago. I'm like, oh, dear Jesus. And then it reared its head in this debate. Just put the hand right over. What? Joe Biden's a friend of mine. Bernie, this is your chance, man. Seriously. You've got to pull ahead here. Now, sure, you came off strong in Iowa in spite of screw jobs. This is your chance. Stop kissing establishment ass. The fact you keep doing this makes my confidence that I had in you at this point, which wasn't that strong because of 2016, makes it weaker and weaker and weaker. More of this stuff I see, Bernie, I don't like a bit of it. I don't like a bit of it. This was stuff he did years ago? You're freaking kidding me. Bernie, Joe Biden was just the vice president of the United States. How many years ago? What improved for the African American community during that time? We didn't get out of wars, okay? We actually got in more of them. Imagine that. Obama ran on legalizing marijuana. Now, Bernie, is it us white folk or is it minorities who get more and more impacted by charges relating to marijuana, so on and so forth? I believe statistics show they have higher, incarceration times, basically, so that they're in jail longer, more likely to be convicted on charges that maybe a white guy would get a slap on the back of the hand for. All these different things, Bernie. So, of course, Obama ran on legalizing it. You say you want to legalize it. Old Joe, what has he said about it? Oh, he's teetering that fence. So, if anything, one could argue Joe actually possibly talked Obama away from pursuing that agenda, because that was what Obama said when he ran, and yet Biden's running, and he doesn't seem to be on the legalize, pot plan over here. Doesn't quite seem to be there, huh? So it makes you wonder, as Obama's VP, what did he do? Did he talk Obama out of it? What did he do? How about healthcare? Obama ran on something trying to get to more something like single payer, something similar to yours, right, Bernie? But of course, Joe Biden is on stage right now, running your plan into the mud. For what? A public option plan. We just brought up the public option plan. Now, Bernie, is it or is it not a fact, okay, that possibly a good chunk of people who are going to get screwed by not being able to afford certain insurance? Obviously, we've looked at wage income brackets, so on and so forth. Not to say it's not going to impact any white people, because it's going to impact me. But when you look at the overall statistics, it tends to impact minorities a little bit more. Now, wait a minute. If he hadn't been betraying them in favor of the Republicans, because remember, a lot of Republicans hesitant to legalize marijuana, and they gave us a right-wing healthcare plan that didn't really work for a lot of people. And even if they did get coverage, it probably nowhere near the same quality of coverage and affordability wise without, that you would get under this Medicare for All plan. So again, Bernie, if he hasn't betrayed them in recent times, what the hell do you call all of that? I call that betrayal, especially when you're trying to play up to him and say, hey, I'm your candidate. I'm your candidate. You need to come out and vote for me. I'm going to take you into more war. I'm not going to, do any kind of criminal justice reform. Nah, we're not going to do none of that, because why should we? Why should we? I'm just going to tell you I'm going to do it and leave it at that. And your response, Bernie, when you have the chance to, take that shot, look, Joe Biden's a friend of mine. So, pretty much, that debate was nothing but an absolute waste of time. The only thing I can say about it that I liked was that they didn't have Bloomberg on stage, and I hope he never makes it there, quite frankly. But then again, maybe him being there might actually hurt him and expose him, and then we could get rid of him. So I'm not really sure which one I want, to be honest with you. I'm sure if he made it to the stage, mainstream media would be doing everything possible, whatever network it's on, to cover for him and take care of him, making it harder to really cripple him in the debate and take him out of the game. They're going to cover for him big time. My prediction, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, only time will tell. All I know is I'm glad he wasn't there last night. And like I said, my opinion, Fix is in on this whole thing. At this point, doesn't look like Tulsi Gabbard's going to be able to win that nomination. People have been saying it for a long time. I held out the optimism. I wanted to start seeing when votes are rolling in. After what we saw in Iowa, recent polls are showing she's down now in New Hampshire. I hate saying it, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope she does perform great in New Hampshire. Only time will tell. I'm still rooting for it, but at this point, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, I don't know. And if she definitely doesn't perform well in New Hampshire, writing's on the wall there. That pretty much narrows it down to Bernie at that point, or Andrew Yang resurgence from the dead. But considering what went on the debate stage last night, they're going to try and keep Yang shut up as well. So what that means is, if they are successful, you're only down to the possibility of Bernie. And again, policy-wise, cool. But I'm afraid he's going to roll over for the establishment. You can't even call him out properly on the debate stage. Sure, he got a couple of good jabs in here and there. When he had that golden opportunity. Look, Joe Biden's a friend of mine. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. That's all we've got. That's going to be the way he handles the establishment. Really doesn't matter who wins the nomination at that point, because we are SOL.